holidays, we teach at Eden. So, for example, today she came to my classroom, but only to ask me questions about the computer, because apparently the school was changing the computers and hers were not working, but nothing related to IBEU.
But not to talk about IBEUIN. You've never had any meeting or encounter with her to talk about IBEUIN?
Well, she told me some things, but I don't know if there was more.
What kind of things?
Well, she told me, I don't know. She introduced me the school at the beginning. She showed me the school. She showed me around. And then she told me some things such as, at Eden, we don't talk about anything related to religion. Liliane had already talked to me, like, something about it. So we don't talk about Halloween, we don't talk about Christmas, something more specific to the school.
Okay. For example, this document here, do you have it?
No.
You don't have this document?
No. I just have the one in which I have, I don't know the name. I have the dates and the weeks and what I do. Let me try to find it.
Yeah, please.
I don't know the name. I had a printed version that I keep at Eden, and then I don't know how to call it. It's something like, for example, October the 9th, I should have started Unit 7, something like this. So I organize myself, counting the holidays, so I'm not behind, you know? And there I have the dates, like, okay, this week I have to send the letter home. So the letter related to the new unit. So I organize myself on this worksheet. But I had a printed version that I write down. So for example, this week I'm supposed to start Unit 7, but I had 3 students missing, so I decided not to. So there I make notes. So I know where to begin, where to end. Okay, so I know that among 5 lessons, I have lost 1 because I decided not to start today. So I have a control on where to start, where to end. But I don't know how to call this document. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know, yeah.
I have this.
All right. Okay, so I will check it, because as you are in a school, IBEUIN, there are some documents, but it's, as I told you, it's not my area. I am just asking because of this event of the deadlines, okay? Now, and the report, even though I shared with you a document, I don't know if you remember, in which I talk about the procedures for midterm and etc. I shared with you this document, but you didn't have, you don't have groups doing midterm, so probably you were not much worried.
I think I saw an email that Liliane sent about the tests and everything, but since I don't have tests in kids and Magic Club, I didn't even mind checking, because I know I don't have to apply anything like that.
And these are procedures that are supposed to be given by the host teacher. And I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm just trying to fix where the communication went wrong, okay? That's why I'm trying to track things. And then
I think it was last Wednesday, when Deborah came to me to give me the letters.
Yeah.
And she told me the system closed yesterday, so the day before she gave me. And then I said, if you had given me on Monday instead of Wednesday, I could have time. because
Yeah.
this she
Yeah.
gave me later, and I don't go to the branch often.
I understand.
I just go there once a month because I have to sign the folha
Yeah.
de ponto,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always very quick. And then I
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, I'll figure out some time to go there, but I don't know if it takes a long time or how it
Yeah.
happens.
And anyway, it will not happen again. You will have to do the same thing at the end of the semester. All
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
As you have a kids for, you should also think of check in your branch if you are going to prepare anything, a presentation for the end of the semester. I don't
Okay.
know. Check with Liliane what the teachers, and what she would like you to do at the end of Kids 4,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Okay.
Or if nothing happens, so check the procedure of the branch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start thinking of something, all right?
Okay.
Do the same in relation to the Magic Club. If she would like you to do anything at the end to involve the parents in
Okay.
it. It can be something simple, but something that involves the parents, all right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Concerning the Magic Club, let me go back to my question. So you finished family album, all right?
Yes, last week. And then
Yeah.
today I only have Tuesday group, not Thursday because it's holiday. So I will
Okay.
just do
Yeah.
a Tuesday activity.
Mm-hmm. Just to refresh my memory, they are in the Magic Club. They are in the second
Let me
semester.
open.
Yeah. Magic Club. They are semester 2, no, family album, yeah, semester 2.
And now I have Under the Sea that I'm going to start only next week.
Yeah, Under the Sea. We are at the end of October because you are starting only after the holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So which means you're gonna have 2 weeks. In fact, yeah, 2 weeks in October,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have November.
Mm-hmm.
The classes will go as far as December, if I'm not mistaken.
December, yes, I think it's right at the end of December, 20, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know
Yeah.
if it means different because it depends on the school calendar as well.
So yeah, check this,
Mm-hmm.
okay, with Liliane or the secretaries, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
uh, until which date you are going to be teaching, if there
Mm-hmm.
is any difference, because it's in the school. So let's anticipate this question, all right, as soon as possible. And then you have one project, you have an extra project, brown bear, all right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to do is to strike a balance. See, manage the time, because you have 1 month, almost 2 months, and you have
Yes.
2 projects only.
Yeah.
And you
Mm-hmm.
cannot include any extra project, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, but since they don't celebrate anything, so I'm not gonna do anything related to Halloween or Christmas, something like that. It
Mhm.
takes 4 to 5 lessons per unit, so I have time.
No, yeah, I think that you have a lot of time. That's my concern.
No, but the more the better.
Yeah.
I have lots. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm worried
I
about.
really like Magic Club. I think I prefer Magic Club than Kids in this sense because I
Yeah.
have more things to work with.
All right. So because what I see here is you have a long period with only 2 projects. So
But we started in August. So in August and mid-September, I've done the first one. It was the farm animals. In August and then September and October, I took the second one. That is the family album. So it takes a month and a week maybe in each project.
so you believe it's enough for this,
Yeah,
okay?
there are
If you
only four
realize,
for 5 months. So
yeah,
1 month and a week for each.
okay. So if you realize you will finish before, you can include an extra activity to refresh vocabulary you have taken. Well, how about the use of English and Portuguese? How is it going, Tamara?
In Magic Club,
Yeah,
at the beginning, I tried only English,
I remember.
but then they were like, "What's going on?" And then I started to balance English, Portuguese, English, and now I speak more English than Portuguese, and they can grasp the whole idea. Sometimes I speak Portuguese because I feel like they are not understanding at all, and sometimes they are misbehaving. So I think they're either bored or not understanding anything, so I speak Portuguese. But mainly it's English, and they can follow.
Okay,
They can't produce much, but they can understand.
okay, all right. Because the idea is bringing this to as
Mm-hmm.
few Portuguese words as possible,
Yeah.
okay? And the point is they might have been accustomed to the use of Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I'm not judging, I'm not complaining, I'm not blaming, I'm just analyzing the situation,
Uh-huh.
right? That's why I'm asking you to work on this. Try to reduce as much as possible, right?
Yes.
And as you do, when necessary, English, Portuguese, English. But the last thing they have to be exposed to is English, all right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When they are misbehaving, definitely looking into the eyes, eye contact, and speaking Portuguese. That's okay, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Uh, and now I'd like to talk to you about the lesson plan you devised
Mm-hmm.
in the forum. Remember?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, I liked the idea of having the forum and the lesson plan. Can you visualize?
Yes.
All right. I posted some questions. Okay,
Yes.
and I would like to go over them. I will share the document with you. See if you receive, Tamara.
Yes.
Okay, try to open so that I don't need to, I can look at you.
Yes.
Okay, good. So there you are. Okay, so here, the first question I have for you is, what is or are your aims for this lesson? When you plan the lesson, okay? How do you start? How do you start planning the lesson? Do you start by the goal, by your aim? Do you look at the book? Remember there was a discussion about this, yeah? It was on purpose, okay? So how do you, okay, I have to prepare my class for tomorrow. Where do you start from?
I always start from the book.
Yeah.
I want to see the theme they are using to approach the everything else.
Uh-huh.
And then if I don't have any ideas or if I'm not confident with what I'm thinking, I go to the wiki
I
to get
see.
some ideas.
Yes. My suggestion, and then it's a question for you. If you go to the book, how do you know what is supposed to be taught?
By the activities, mainly.
But how do you know the vocabulary that you are supposed to teach and
By the
the
theme.
grammar?
By the theme. Yes, because
Yeah.
for example, I started today the unit 7 in kids,
Kids.
and they have I don't remember the name of the unit, but it's
No problem.
related to animals.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many pictures of animals and vocabulary of what animals do:
Mm-hmm.
jump, hop, climb, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the vocabulary they need to get. They already know the animals.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. By the warm-up activity, I realized they know it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to teach the names, but the actions they do or any other curiosities. So
Okay.
by that, I know what I need to work with them just by looking
Mm-hmm.
at the main activities. And then I go to Wiki to see if they have any other tips or suggestions. Sometimes they have slides that help the lesson.
Okay.
But the Wiki is not the first thing that I go.
Okay. Let me. When you look at the syllabus?
Not really.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'm trying to guide you into is you have to start from the syllabus. Okay. Can you open the wiki now?
Yes, I have it open.
Yes. All right. So if you go to Kids 4, then you have there Kids 4, the main page. Okay.
Yes.
Below the units, you have planners. All
Yes, I
right.
opened the syllabus, right?
Huh?
The syllabus you want me to open?
And then you have the syllabus. Yeah.
Yes, I opened it. Yes.
So looking at the syllabus, you have productive syllabus, listening, reading, blah, blah, blah. Then if you scroll down, you have Unit 5, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you have all the aims.
But look at Unit 7, for instance, that I started today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't open the syllabus, but look what it says there. Identify and describe animals.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done everything that
Okay.
is here without even...
No, I don't doubt you
Yeah.
can just by looking. That's I completely
Uh-huh.
believe you, all right? I'm not questioning. I'm just suggesting you, after doing so, go to the syllabus if you
To see
want,
if it matches.
to
Uh-huh.
see if it matches. Because we have something here, observe, productive vocabulary. You see?
Uh-huh.
So these are the words that the students are supposed to learn by heart.
Yes.
You can present 20,000 words related to animals, but these ones are the ones that EBIL wants the students to know by heart by the end of the semester. Okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's why the syllabus for us at EBIL is essential. Okay? So when planning your lesson, you can do as you do. I'm not saying it's wrong, but go to the syllabus and check, okay, this is exactly, but I want to present elephant. Elephant is not productive, but I will present elephant because I think it's important, but I make sure I will work on these words here, all right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because these words will be expected on in the future. In kids, no, because they don't have any assessment. But when they are in the teens, when you get a teens group, for example, these words will be tested in an oral test, in the midterm, blah, blah, blah. And this will guide you, will show you what to focus on, all right? And communicative aims, grammar aims, etc., etc. Sometimes they include words, they include pages that you have to skip. It's not the case here, but there are some levels in which we have to skip pages, we have to skip units, okay? So the syllabus is the soul for you, all right?
Okay.
Good. And when you go to the main page again, going back to the main page, and we open Unit 7, are we together?
Main page and then kids in 7.
7. Kids 4, Unit 7.
Okay.
And when you see the day 1, and then we have the subat, okay, people say. This is, students will be able to identify and name animals, okay?
Yes.
So here, they set the main goal of this day. This is your aim for this day. So at the end of the class, the students are supposed to identify, okay? Even so, it's to broaden. When you establish a name, you have to be rather more specific. So when you say they have to identify, what do you mean? You have to think about this. What do I mean when I say my students have to identify? Look and say the name of the animal. Look and make a sentence using the name of the animal. I don't know. You have to establish this specific goal to yourself, all right? So, okay, they have to identify animals. But how? Okay, George, I want them at the end of the class to be able to look at a picture and say, it's a dog. Or it's a dog and I love it. All right? This will guide you better when planning your lesson. Now, and how am I going to do this? I'm going to do this using a listening, using a reading, using a dialogue. So this is your subsidiary aim. So you have the principal aim and then other aims, okay? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Right? Well, once you establish this aim, you start planning your lesson. Okay? That's why I posted this question at the beginning in your lesson plan.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So, where is the lesson plan? Oh, here. So, what is the aim in this lesson? And then you have the warm-up. You see the warm-up? Are we together? I'm back to the planning.
Yeah.
And then you say, show pictures of India, right? Its culture. Ask students to share in pairs their thoughts. And then I have 3 questions here for you, right?
Yes. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, these questions came to my mind when I saw that. So, I don't know if they came to your mind when you were planning, when you plan a lesson, all right? You don't have to answer these questions, but I wrote down just to show you how I plan my lessons, okay? The lesson plan is always made, in a way that another person can get it and be able to implement it. All right? And then you say, George, but are you crazy? Do you want me to do this to every lesson? Of course not. This you do mentally, okay? But when you have to write it down, this should be clear. Because this reflects what you have in mind. All right?
Yes.
So, in this case here, how would the students express their thoughts? Do they have English to express their thoughts?
Well, since I don't know what they know about India, I expect anything.
Yeah, but how are they going to express their thoughts? How are they going to speak? Are they going to speak?
Yeah, they spoke. I did this lesson.
And how did they speak?
Well, they first pointed to the pictures and tried to recognize the places. Oh, I've seen this. They didn't speak. They didn't say, I've seen this picture. But they said,
Yeah.
but they said something like, I know it. Or just
Mhm.
thought something like, ah, dance. They recognized the pictures. And then I was trying, once they have shared everything that they've understood, I tried to connect to the country.
Mhm.
None of them guessed the country, but they could understand the pictures. Nothing was new for them.
Uh-huh. Yes, because when you say they express their thoughts, you see,
Uh-huh.
this is a very broadened aim. And then if I were there to observe a class, I would expect someone expressing their thoughts. And what
Uh-huh.
does it mean? Oh, I can see, I don't know what's there, but let's say I can see a palace in it's Taj Mahal, and Taj Mahal was, this is to express your thoughts. It's a wonderful place, and I would love to visit it. So you have to when you express your ideas concerning a lesson plan, you have to be as precise as possible. Otherwise, you run the risk of having high expectations from
Mm-hmm.
the person who is watching this class. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't expect my students to express their thoughts. Can you see where I'm trying to guide you into?
I can, but I don't actually agree very much.
That's okay. Go on. Yes, please.
I don't know, because I mean, I don't plan a lesson like this every lesson. I don't type everything. I
Yeah,
just
of course not. Yeah.
right. But when I do something like this, either to email or to the school that I work in, it's never for the other to observe me. It's always for
Yeah.
me
Mhm.
to see, to put in words.
Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
when I think about something like show pictures, it doesn't really matter if I'm going to print the pictures or if I'm going to display on a slide. I'm going to show the pictures. So I try to be specific, but at the same time, I try to be. I don't want to explain too much. I think the lesson speaks for itself. Do you understand me?
Okay. But when you are planning, does these things come to your mind? How you're going to show the pictures
Yes,
and
of course. Yes.
uh,
For
and
example, I had saved some pictures from the internet, and I just
uh-huh.
showed the pictures.
Mhm.
But I
And
could, but I
uh-huh.
could have printed. I could have, I don't know, displayed on one big slide. I don't
Uh-huh.
think.
And how did they talk about the pictures to you?
No, they talk among themselves. I was just observed. I was an observer.
Okay, so the pattern was student-student.
Yeah, that's what I work here. Is ask students to share in pairs their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, just to see what they knew about it. I didn't expect them to give me anything.
Okay.
I didn't rely on their knowledge to keep on my lesson. I just wanted to know if they knew about it, if they could recognize it, and they could some things. They couldn't relate to the country, but that
Mm-hmm.
was not my main focus. It was just to see if they knew about it, the culture, to see their reaction,
Uh-huh.
to see if they thought it was weird or not. And I
Okay.
was satisfied with what I got.
But that's okay. Yeah, and then that's okay. Uh-huh. I just want to visualize better the lesson because it's written
And
and
then
I'm not there, right?
And then when I wrote after the introduction, I said, after having monitored the children's contribution,
Mm-hmm.
so it was implied that I was not into the activity because it was in pairs. And after that, I even stayed after having monitored. I was just an observer. I just wanted to see what they knew. And then I asked if they know the country, and they didn't. But then that was okay.
Okay, and then you told them the country.
I showed them in the map, and I asked them to point, where's Brazil? And do you know the continent? And some of them They have different ages. I have 12-year-old student and a 9-year-old student. So they have different maturity in terms of geography. But they could give me something. They could give me where Brazil was and South America, and then they didn't know where India was, and then I showed them a map. It was just
Okay,
to
so
introduce, to make sense the
and then
lesson.
a
The
bit of
whys, oh, this
context.
happens in India, so where is India? What is India?
Okay, so you contrasted with Brazil, for example.
Yes, I showed the picture, and I saw, can you find these things in Brazil? Do you think this is in Brazil? No, it is not in Brazil. Oh, why not? We don't dance like this. And I even asked about carnival. Do you think it's carnival? Because they were dancing Bollywood. And they said, no, no, just to.
Okay, all right. And then you went to the pre-reading activity, okay?
Mhm.
And then you put there, what about India do you think the text will be focusing on? And then you put expected answers, food, culture, language, yeah?
Mhm.
And then I have some questions there for you.
How can this be done in a way? Well, I think, let me see what I wrote. By showing the title and the images, and after having shown them about the country, I think it was already enough of curiosity. Maybe there are other ways, but I think I had gained more attention than if I had just opened the book straight and
No,
not mentioned
definitely.
anything.
Yeah, let's make something clear. I'm not saying that it's wrong, it's
No,
right.
no, I'm just because you asked how can this be done in a way that you can raise to this curiosity. I think I had already raised that curiosity. Maybe there are ways that I can raise more or in a different way, but I think they were already curious. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And the pattern, which was the pattern here?
It was the whole class. I didn't point anybody like, George, what do you think? Because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if they had something to give me. So it was an open question. Whoever was feeling confident to answer, they could give me something.
All right. And then you moved on and you said that the text actually approaches the different reasons why people paint their faces, okay?
Yes.
And talks about India, man whose face is painted to scare others. But it mentions various reasons, such as show you are proud of something, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the text was about making faces.
Yes.
Okay. And based on the aim, then I ask you, okay, of the text, what is the relation between the pre-activity and the text itself and the post-activities? Because the pre was talking about food, culture, etc. Was it mentioned in the text?
Yeah, he mentions that some people paint their faces to go to watch a football match or carnival or parties. And in India, it's cultural to paint their faces to scare people. So something like that. I don't remember very well, but everything mentioned on the text uh, was related to culture. So we talked about Halloween.
Oh.
And I just focused on India because on the book there was a small map pointing to India.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big picture of a man with a face painted, and he was from India. So
Uh-huh. But the text itself
uh-huh.
is about
People paint their faces.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as a post, they had to make faces. Okay, that I found it very fun. All right, because they had to make different faces. And then there was this wrap up. They had to post a note. I am like the Native American girl because I paint my face for fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because on the book there was an activity
Mm-hmm.
which they had to answer. Why did the American native girl paint their faces? And I don't remember, but something like, oh, because it was Halloween. Or why did this one paint their face? Because it was pride of their culture. There are two different people for two different reasons. And the last one was, why do you paint your own face? And I had to answer if it was because they were proud or if they were fun, because it was fun. And then I connect this activity into a final one. So compare yourself to the other one.
Okay, and then I have a question for you. What is the aim of this lesson?
Grammatically speaking, no.
Not necessarily. If you had to decide a name, what is the aim of this lesson?
If I had to decide, I would say...
based on the students, okay, production. I want my students to produce something. I want my students to train something. I want my students... What would it be?
I don't know. I think I would describe... The objective was them to describe somebody's actions or describe what someone is doing. Because it was, yeah, because mainly they had to talk about somebody else. So why is this girl painting her face? Or why is that boy doing this? So it would be to describe what someone is doing or describe the reason why someone is doing that.
Yeah, but was there a moment in the lesson they had this chance to describe what somebody is doing?
Only on the book. There were activities they had to write down. After reading, they had to write down some comprehensive questions in which they had to relate. Why is this man doing this? So something like that. So they had to describe their actions.
I see.
And that's why my last...
Yeah, so this is where I want you to get to. And we started, the first question was, what's the aim of the lesson? This is essential because this will guide you when proposing the activities. Because this lesson, correct me if I'm wrong, but this lesson had a reading activity.
Yes, mainly, yes.
So if I had to say the objective, the aim of this lesson is to develop reading skills.
But based on something, isn't it? Because otherwise all the reading, lessons will be just to develop reading skills, right?
Because before reading, there is a moment you say this. What about India? Before reading, they have to read the questions. Isn't there a moment to say this here? You know which country?
Yes. I always ask them to read before the questions.
Yes.
So that the reading has a focus. They don't lose themselves.
Yeah. And there was a pre-reading activity.
Yes.
There was a while reading activity, and there was a post-reading activity. This lesson was a developing reading skills, okay? This was the lesson. And within the lesson, the reading, you worked on vocabulary, they produced something written, I like this, I am like this person because of this, but your aim was undoubtedly reading the text. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes, I do. I just think that there is a reason why they read it. And the reason to read it was to know how to describe what somebody was doing. It is reading, but it's not only reading. It's not reading by reading. It's reading with a purpose. And the purpose was to know how to describe what somebody's doing.
Okay. And then I have two questions for you. If it
Okay.
were reading by reading, is it a problem?
I think it is. Because it's not meaningful.
Oh, really?
Reading by
That's okay.
reading.
Yeah,
Yes.
not.
There
Uh-huh.
was something that I used to say a lot in a university. Is
Uh-huh.
texto como pretexto. So just use a text in order to learn present tense, for example, or to have a text just to say that I'm working with reading, it's useless. I have to have a meaning from that. I read because I want to learn about something. That's what we do on our daily basis, right? If I see something on, I don't know, G1, I'm only going to click on the thing that I want to know about, not because I want to practice my reading skills.
That's okay. That's quite interesting. And I totally agree with you. Reading, if there is a purpose to read, okay? But don't. But on the other hand, you are working on developing skills, all right? And
Mhm.
then speaking skill, reading skill, blah blah blah, writing, and so on and so forth. And we have lessons to develop reading skills because
Uh-huh.
we have to prepare a learner to be able to go for information.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then we have reading for general ideas, reading for a specific idea. So when you ask your students to read the question first, you are training them to read for specific information, even though you don't tell them this, okay?
Uh-huh.
But this was your aim, and this is your aim when you do so, because you want them to have a guided reading, okay? And ignore anything else that is not necessary. So you are implicitly, you are teaching them how to read something, okay?
Mhm.
If you just ask them to read it quickly and tell me what the text is about, okay, they are scanning for general information. So you are teaching an ability, okay?
Mhm.
Now, the the fact that you can use this text for something else is also right. I totally agree with you. Now, that you have to spend 1 hour just reading and develop a reading skill, it's up to you. You can have 30 minutes to practice, to develop reading skills, and then you can have 30 minutes to work on language, I don't know, vocabulary, grammar, all right? Based, extracted from that passage. It's okay, no problem at all. But there must be a clear objective. Well, what am I going to do here? First, I'm going to develop reading skills. Pa. And then you build up your lesson. Now, I have another aim with this text. I want to focus on language describing what someone is doing. Then this is another lesson with other steps, other stages. Do you see? Could you follow me?
Yes, but I think when you do both things at the same time, it's even better, isn't it? That's why the book. I mean, I'm using the book because he kids has a book.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I think the book has a theme. That's why the book provides you something to embraces everything together. So why am I going to split into different activities if I can do them both together? It makes it even more meaningful for them.
Could they describe people?
They could. They've done the activity.
And would they be able to do it without the book?
The book provided them the text in which they took the information from.
Yeah, and how was
So
the
without,
exercise for them to describe?
there were questions asking why were each of the characters, people, painting their face. Then they had to write complete answers. the Native American girl was painting her face. No, 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 no.
And why they could write why?
Why? Because it was in a text, so they understood the reason.
Yeah. Okay. So isn't this reading comprehension?
Yes, it was a reading activity, but that's what I'm saying. It was a reading activity, but it was not reading by reading. It was a reading with a purpose. There was a theme behind it.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Isn't it?
Maybe what's going on here is a different concept of reading and reading with a purpose. I also, when you develop reading skills, you are developing reading skills based on a purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't a tag.
I think we are talking about the same thing, but in a different way. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't use the tag to talk about grammar, for instance. I didn't get any tags on the internet talking about any related subject, just because I had to teach something. For me to get to my objective, I use a text provided by the book, luckily, but we know that it doesn't happen all the time, in which talk about the theme related to the unit, so something that they were talking about frequently. So they knew something about it before, but then they had a purpose at the end. It wasn't just a text that I grabbed from the internet. Okay, let's work with present tense. Underline the verbs. It wasn't something like this. They read, they understood grammar, they did everything, but they were talking about something else as well. No, the lesson was not. Do you see what I'm talking?
Yes, now it's clear for me. Yeah. But here at TBIL, we call this the objective of this lesson. Anyone who observed you would say that the objective was developing reading skills, okay? And the purpose at the end, describing people, what people are doing, what people are doing. Yeah.
Okay, because it didn't make sense to me at first, because I thought, like, every time that I teach a lesson in which I'm focusing on reading, I have the same objective. Do you know what I'm saying? And no, because different tags have different meanings, have different objectives. So on these tags, they needed to read to understand what people are doing. But another tags could be something to describe an animal, for example. So
yeah,
the objectives on the reading change.
That's okay. We are talking about the same thing, Thamara.
Yes, I think
so. All right. And then, but this question was because you said here, there is a moment to say you could play the audio, right?
Where are you?
They will focus on free wires. Roads are painted by mentioned various reasons.
Is it in post reading one? Children may read the text, or teacher may read.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the book there's the text, and there is a possibility of playing, and then somebody reads the text for the class.
Yes, yes. And what do you think about it?
I never played when somebody reads the text. I always ask them to read for me, so I can work with intonation and punctuation. And
they read aloud. Yeah.
They read, yes. I only play the audios when there is something else, but not a text, because then it's not reading.
Yes. Yeah. That's why we go back to the first question. What's the aim of this lesson? So it's reading. So why playing? Okay. If you play, it's not reading, it's listening. All right. Yeah. Another, and sorry for be pushing you too far, okay? But I want this conversation to be like this, okay? Because depending on the person, we can go further and further, all right? And I hope you don't misunderstand me, I'm not testing you. I'm just intrigued and trying to get more and more from you, okay? So the first thing is clear objective, all right?
Okay.
And you have your clear objective, then you told me. If it's a reading, so I don't play it. Very good. Now, my third question here is, why reading aloud?
The reason why I asked them to read aloud, so that I never asked them to read aloud at once, because then it's only practicing pronunciation. And while somebody's reading, the other one's not paying attention. So I always ask them to read individually. So once they have an idea of what happened, I ask them to read aloud. So then I can work with pronunciation, punctuation, and rhythm.
Okay. So they read silently, individually.
Yes.
But then, because you want to work on pronunciation, you...
Yeah.
Okay. Now I got it. Okay. All right. I liked the exercise. I don't know if you liked the exercise. Did you like the exercise?
Yes, yes, of course.
And I want you to be very transparent. Did you like this conversation?
Yes, it's always good to discuss something like this.
Yeah.
Because at least, for example, in school, we always have somebody else with us. So in the classroom, or our coordinators, and we can discuss this kind of things. And we don't have anybody to talk to. So it's nice to have somebody to
and yeah, and I can feel your expertise. That's why I am being very picky, okay? But believe me, in a very positive way. So at IBEO, you always have a name. At IBEO, you always go to the syllabus, okay? To check if, this is what I am supposed to do, apart from what else I feel like doing.
Okay.
And you can do it, extra things, but make sure you work on. This semester, you don't have anybody doing tests, written tests, oral tests, but when they do so, they are demanded to produce. So that's why you have the syllabus to help us. Secondly, the aim guides, and make sure you focus on only one objective at a time, okay? Which was the case here. You intended, even though we were talking in different ways, but you had only one objective here, that was reading activity. All right. And there was a wrap-up thing, which is very good. There was a warm-up, so I can see that you have already started working with warm-up and then wrap-up, okay? Now, talking about the forum, could you do everything in the forum that was proposed, Thamara?
After I sent this lesson plan, I didn't open anymore.
Yes.
Because you said you were going to give me the observing lesson schedule, so that...
I just want you to finish, because in September, there were other activities that you were not able to do, okay? So just finish the activities. Let's take a look. On September 17, enhancing student talking time.
September 17?
Yeah. The title is Enhancing Student Talking Time. There are 3 videos.
Critically thinking.
It's above.
Yes.
Okay. Then my intention here is you watch the videos and then you reflect on it, okay?
Okay.
You can post here your reflection.
Okay. Jorge? Jorge. Hi.
Hi, oh my God. Okay, it was, okay, so I'm back. And so just try to do this one, take a look, make some observations, reflections, okay? Based on your lessons, what you see there and your lessons. These things are rather more for the future, okay? Because student talking time, you have the kids. It doesn't apply much to the magic club, but applies to the kids in the future. Concerning the observation, it's really hard to find a time for you to observe because all the groups, you don't have enough time to leave. I asked Liliane to send me the groups she has in Botafogo, and you don't have time leaving your lessons, your classes, you don't have enough time to get to the branch and observe a class.
But even on Saturdays?
That's what I was going to ask you. Is Saturday okay for you only once in your existence? Or would, because I know it's demanding, yeah. And the Saturday, we might not have kids, whatever, but we may have beginners, right? And I think any beginner level would fit in this case, all right?
Okay. At Botafogo?
I don't know if I will have in Botafogo, because there are only 4 groups in Botafogo. Let me take a look here. Botafogo has on Saturdays. I'm opening here the doc. Saturday, there is a top flex 4, master flex, and advanced 4. So they are not beginners. Top flex 6. Monica has a master flex 1.
What is master flex?
Master flex is, let's say, post-intermediate level.
Okay.
I have a, I can check if there is anything in Tijuca. Would it be too difficult for you to get to
Yes.
Tijuca.
Mhm.
It's because there is metro, right?
Yes.
And the branch is near metro. Let me just check something here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here. I have. Only Mondays and Wednesdays. There is a very good teacher, but she teaches only Mondays and Wednesdays. Because I cannot send you to any teacher. You see?
Mhm.
All right. Maybe we could try Monica on Saturday in Botafogo. Her class is at 9 o'clock.
What is the level?
It's the Masterflex one. I'm talking about Monica because she helps you, right?
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in contact with Monica, all right? And check if she wouldn't mind having you observing her class, and
Okay.
then I will get back to you. Just to check a date, we're gonna have 21 and 28. Would you be able to observe on any of these days?
Yeah. So far, I don't remember having anything scheduled.
Yeah.
So. Mhm.
Then you confirm and you let me know. I will try to schedule the observation on the 20, today is 9, 28th, okay?
Okay.
And then we have enough time to contact her and see if she doesn't mind. And then I get back to you, all right?
Okay.
All right, now let's set our next counseling. We could talk after the 28th.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it would be the 30th, October the 30th.
Ah, okay. Same time today.
Could be?
Yes.
Because then you will have already observed the class.
Yes.
All right?
Day the 30th.
Let me take notes here.
Okay.
And master facts. Okay. And when observing, I will send you some procedures, how to proceed when observing, but your main focus when observing the lesson is teacher talking time, right? Student talking time, how she manages this, blah, 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 blah. All right?
Okay.
Thamara, thank you very much for your patience, okay? I hope I have helped you today. Do you think it
You
was
always have.
helpful?
You always have.
And we talk, meanwhile, send you an email to confirm things, okay?
Okay. Tomorrow I'll let you know if I fixed
Yes,
what
please. Okay, and then I can help you, all right?
happened. Okay.
Thank
Yes.
you very much. Have a nice existence. Enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Make sure you enjoy, okay? And we talk. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.